right. Hello and welcome to this episode of Kong Builders. Welcome to Kong. And previously I was saying welcome to Kong YouTube channel, but I know that right now the stream is actually going to many places. So welcome wherever you are, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, and we are streaming from everywhere. Write down in the comments where you're coming from, like geographically, and I would know that what kind of platform you're coming from. My name is Viktor Gamov. I work as a developer advocate here with Kong, and hopefully you will spend next hour with me learning something new about Kong, or maybe not learning something new about it, or maybe I will learn something from you. All right, so let's get this. Let this thing going. Let's see if you will be able to see me and clearly hear me. I see Marcello from LinkedIn coming to us. Welcome. Great to have you here. Let me know how's everything. I'm monitoring on my side and see the looks like the stream is going strong, and hopefully you also enjoying this. The Kong Builders. Okay, so Kong Builders. What is Kong Builders? If you're first time here, for Kong Builders, this is the show that we're trying to do weekly, bi-weekly, once in a while, but like it's always on Wednesdays. And Wednesday we're talking about all things Kong. This is unscripted, unprepared live stream where we're trying to build things because of Kong Builders. But sometimes we break things. Usually I break things and I fix the things after the fact, which is ridiculous, but hey, that's the fact. So, Kong Builders, you can always subscribe to or fresh episodes. If you're not interested in the streams, by the way, on Kong YouTube channel, you can find the demos that work all the time, and you don't need to sitting here and listen to me for 1 hour. Okay, so I see that Marcello comes from Brazil, welcome, and I see Rahul comes from India, also welcome. Looks like the time frame that we picked up for this show is actually very friendly for many time zones, so people can join all over the world. So it's great to have you everyone here. So now, before we jump into today's subject, so I will show you where you can find all the episodes. There is a Kong YouTube channel, like all things that I'm doing are linked there. Majority of the things. I also sometimes write blog posts, but we'll talk about this. And it goes into here, and you can find this the Kong Ingress Controller. No. Kong Builders live stream. So you can find all the episodes, all the previous episodes. I highly recommend to check out the previous episode where my colleague Kat actually broke down how you can deploy Kuma, which is CNCF Sandbox project that we at Kong contributing actively. How you can run this in ECS. I think it's a pretty exciting topic. If you in this type of jazz, I highly recommend to check this out from the last time. And also like hit that like button and encourage Kat to do more content around service mesh. Okay, so where are we here? Okay, thanks for complimenting my t-shirt. It's actually it's exclusive Kong Ingress Controller t-shirt. So we actually doing the kind of raffle. So if you sign up for another show that we're doing, it's called Kongcast, and you will be able to win you will be able to win the shirt. So if you will subscribe for this email. Oh, I'm not showing this. Okay, so we have another show that we're doing. It's called Kongcast, and we actually can do a raffle. So you sign up there, and usually we send winners some of the swag, some of this cool swag with the Kong Ingress Controller t-shirt, for example. But also, if you are in the Kubernetes type of jazz, I highly recommend to listen to our previous episode that I recorded with Jessica Dean from Microsoft, and we talk about Bridge to Kubernetes, which is a pretty cool tool that allows you to debug your Kubernetes application in real time. So that's that pretty much. Oh no, the one last thing. Actually, two things that I just realized that I didn't mention. So first thing is that Kong Summit. Kong Summit is upon us. So you can register for Kong Summit. You can get the early bird tickets. So let me remove this one from the stream. Yep. You can register for early bird tickets to get some discounts. So Kong Summit is going to be a pretty cool event where we will talk about all things technology around Kong, but not only Kong, but we will have speakers around the industry talking about the cloud connectivity, APIs, some cool use cases, how they use Kong, or how they can use cloud native technologies and things like that. So I highly recommend you to join us in September in San Francisco. It's going to be a very cool event. Yeah, so the prices right now, sales end in 10 days. If you, it's a 2-day conference, highly recommend to join us. But there's a hack. Some people asking, Victor, how I can go to conference and not pay for the conference. So that's what I personally use. That's my personal. Why go to conference if you can speak at the conference? So you can go here, find this page about Kong Summit call for papers. And you can submit your talk about your API and innovations and all things cloud connectivity. If you will be chosen to present, you don't need to pay for the conference. I think it's a huge bonus. It's a huge win. All right, so that's all announcements that I wanted to show right now. But like, if you have some announcements, send them me to DM in Twitter. You can find my Twitter here. It's always in my lower third that is down below. You can send me DM on Twitter and I can read your advertisement for this live stream. We have a coverage across multiple platforms. But anyway, so let's enough with all this jazz. So today I wanted to talk a little bit, I will just try to experiment with the format, and I try to bring some of the things that I found interesting. This is how this show is supposed to be doing. Like, I found something interesting, so you will find this something interesting. So I was doing a presentation in let me switch to my channel. So I did this presentation on NDC Copenhagen last week. It was a cool conference it was cool to visit some Nordic countries, and I was talking about all things that are available to you as a developer when you're running the Kong as a ingress, and what kind of things you can do this. But because of the format of the conference, I couldn't possibly put everything. I just scratched the surface, explaining what's ingress. You can check the slides, and the video will be available also very soon. And I talk about ingress, I talk about HTTP, HTTPS, and after that how we can use or deploy services that not maybe available as a HTTP or L7, like gRPC or TCP or UDP. So I showed all the things, how you can do this with Kong. The regular listeners and regulars in this channel also know that I did some of the episodes of Kong Builders on this subject. We talk about TCP ingress, UDP ingress, all these cool things. But I was playing around with some of the things, and I found that there's some plugins that I never use, because usually, if I want to do kind of like a one-on-one talk and talk about the ingress controller, I have just like a small set of plugins, and maybe many of you already have seen those multiple times. So rate limiting, some of the queue-off type of plugins. If you haven't seen this, again, there is a video on the YouTube channel. You can watch this. I explain how those two plugins, work together. But I also found the plugins that I never kind of used, but they kind of cool or useful at least. So maybe today would be one of the episodes where I will start talking about those plugins. Start talking about something like gems, or how my friend and colleague picked up this morning, kind of crew pick. So he shared some of the past when he worked at the Blockbuster, which is kind of like a DVD and VHS renting company, and there was a corner like when the staff can pick up some of the interesting things, some of the interesting movies. So consider this as the peak of my plugins. If you like this format, write down in the comments. I will continue to do this. And we will jump in as always. Before we start, let's see. There's nothing here installed, so we're gonna do. We just go ahead, install Kong in namespace Kong. We're not gonna do any particular version, so that's why we're gonna install like fresh, as always, YOLO. And something might not work, something will break, definitely will break, but we'll see. So once we install it, depends on the speed of my internet today. We're going into namespace Kong. Kong is starting up. We're using the latest and greatest bits. And we'll see if we can get the IP address that we usually have. So in this case, I don't need to. Can I do this? Can I do this like this? Oh, okay. Let's see, what's my Kong proxy? No, it's a different one. So for simplicity, give me a quick second. I will try to register this external IP address for my application. So in this case, we don't need to mess around with we don't need to mess around with IP addresses and things like that. Sometimes when I do this in kind of demos, Google can assign the same IP address for my load balancer, but this time I was out of luck and my IP address that I already have just disappeared. Okay, so I will quickly update my DNS and we will see how fast it does. Oh, you see, so DNS works great. It's always great to have a good provider. If I do Kong proxy me, okay, so we're hitting this latest and greatest. We're getting this response, which is cool. That's what we usually like to have. The first thing that first plugin that I want to try to run this will require a little bit more setup, and hopefully you will enjoy seeing me set up this one. So the for these plugins, so if you're interested in plugins, first thing you need to go is to Plugin Hub, docs.conk.hq/hub. This is where you will go and learn about the plugins. In this, for today, I will try to focus on some of the free plugins that only available for open source Conk and so far so on. Maybe in future we will look on some of the enterprise grade plugins. That would be also cool because those are having some of the some cool capabilities. Let's see. I wanted to start with something simple. Prometheus. So I want to have this start collecting some metrics from my system. So that's why I will use this Prometheus plugin. So as always, you can go and find this in our plugin hub, and we're going to be installing this in Kubernetes. So one of the things that I don't know if you how often you spend time in Kong documentation, but we just recently did very small but very nice introduction. So all configurations now not scattered around this document, but like very nicely and compacted, organized. So for example, I want to enable this plugin globally, and I want to enable this in Kubernetes. How cool is that? Just click around, drill down. I think it's cool. And we're going to be using this this configuration. So I do have this Prometheus plugin thing already available in my editor. So, but for this, I need to have some of the configurations that are available in Kong itself. Specifically, we need to enable metrics, and we need to enable this pod annotation, so Prometheus will be able to scrap it. Those values I don't need for now, so I will just where's the, I will edit those and enable those annotations. So in this case, let me move it here. Yep. So I move this into my directory. So and when I do Helm upgrade with values YAML. Again, enabling those annotations allow to this plugin to scrap this, or not the plugin. Plugin will be enabling the traffic that will be hitting your ingress and pass this information down to Prometheus. But we don't have Prometheus, and we don't have a tool that allows us to visualize it. So I was thinking about this, and you can actually find a full-blown the blog explaining how this works if you go to a application performance monitoring, and there's a full blog explains how you can set up Prometheus and Grafana for application. This blog uses kind again write down in the comments if you know how to pronounce this correctly. We're not gonna use it. You know what, I'm a fan of the running on the real hardware and like burning money on the real Kubernetes cluster. So we're not gonna do this locally. Couple things that we need to have. I already have those Helm charts for Prometheus in Grafana already in my so I'll just do Helm repo update. So as you can see, Grafana is here, and Prometheus community is here as well. So we'll already skip. So in order to install, we need to enable some of the values for Prometheus. So we should say 10 seconds. It's how often these metrics will be collected. So that should be more than enough. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna install this one. This blog post uses particular version, like I said, in con builders. We don't use say we're not using like a safety belt. So we just use like whatever version available, and after that YOLO. So we're gonna be installing Prometheus using a community chart in the namespace monitoring. We'll create this namespace, and we're gonna be using Prometheus YAML as our values. So we're gonna go here and go into that's Key 9S, my favorite tool to show you Kubernetes Jazz in a command line, or rather, it's not command line. It's kind of like a text-based interface. And we're starting bringing all these things here. Okay, so we're not gonna be accessing this directly from our application. We're going to be using Grafana to show all these metrics now. And the next thing is that we need to install Grafana, and in this blog post also use the values that we need to install. Specifically, this is going to be our Prometheus server. Let's see if it's a this Prometheus server should be available within our Kubernetes cluster by particular DNS name. Yeah, so Prometheus server. So it is available from this service name. However, since we're going to be running Grafana in the same namespace, we don't need to specify the namespace. We don't need to specify service cluster local. So it will be available based on this service name. If you're running this in a different namespaces, make sure that you're putting the full qualified path. All right. And the rest of the stuff. Oh, okay. So that's actually neat. So if you want to use something from, if you want to use Grafana Dashboard, Kwong actually has pre-built a Grafana Dashboard that you can use in your application. So that's why when we're setting things up, we specify, okay, we want to have some default Conk dashboard, and Grafana, while we install it, will fetch it installed in your installation. So with this, let's go ahead and install this one. Again, YOLO, we're not using any versions. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how far we can go with this. While it's installed, let me check any comments that we have here so far. So thank you, Taryn, for the posting some of the links. Taryn is helping with running the show on the background. Always appreciate it, and it's always great to have the winged lady like you in my Conk Builder show. Okay, so we do have a few more people. Artyom, welcome. It's great to have you here. I hope you will stick around until the end. Okay, so Rahul is asking, can we cover some aspects of Kuma as well? Not today, though. You go and subscribe to, where is it? On our YouTube channel, and you can find all things around let me see. Okay, that's wrong button. Yeah, so you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can find some of the videos around Kuma. But also write down in the comments if you want to learn more about Kuma and what exactly you want to learn, because there's tons of things that we can talk about this. For example, in a few weeks I will be talking in Java community about service mesh for Java developers, or I will be talking about zero trust security with service mesh. So all these things, if there would be recording, I will post those. But you can always ask me, and I can do a special episode on this. Or Kat, now my in-house, my colleague and my in-house expert in the service mesh. Okie dokie. Okay, so while I was talking and you were watching, I don't see, give me a second. Anyway, yeah, so Grafana is up and running, and to get a password for Grafana, we're using this magic command. So what it does, it'll get the secret from Grafana and getting admin password and decode this on base 64. This is a very safe password, and I think this password is actually generated like all the time when we install it. So we're going into Grafana. We want to do port forwarding, port 3000. For those of you who Marvel fans, love you 3000. Write down in the comments if you get the reference. Now, and we're going into localhost, and we're going into localhost. It will ask me admin password, and password, we already have it here. We're logged in. And yeah, dashboard is up and running, but there's no data. Because first, we don't have anything. We don't have any service, and we don't have a plugin enabled. So the thing that we do have now Prometheus and Grafana. So we're going to go ahead and enable Prometheus plugin. So I will just go ahead. It uses the Conk custom resource definition. And the Conk ingress will be using this guy. So going in, just click apply. Essentially, what this apply does is just a nifty feature of JetBrains IDE that allows me to do kube control apply -f with this file. So cluster plugin created. So let's take a look what it's looked like in our so configuration is updated, blah, blah, blah. So that's the output from ingress controller. And we see something with plugin. Let's see if we have a plugin is available. Get plugin schema. Okay, Prometheus is up and running. So let's see. Let's see if, as always, we the way how we can generate some traffic. I'm using. Many of you know this. I'm gonna be using Insomnia and a new HTTP request. It's a base URL. And my base URL for this environment, I guess, would be conproxy.me. Yeah, so if I will send, no route, that's totally expected. However, we want to see if the data start actually going in. So last 5 minutes, we will refresh some data, and looks like we start getting some data from Lua worker. But there's nothing here, so there's no, yeah, there are a few connections here and there, but there's no service because we didn't deploy anything. And many of you know that I am have my favorite application, the code service that generates code source about Chuck Norris. So that's why we're gonna go here, and we will go do Chuck. So we have a deployment. We'll just go ahead and apply this deployment. We create service, apply this one, and I don't have these plugins installed, so I don't need to enable those. And Chuck Norris proxy.me. Okay. Now, so I should be able to get back to my Chuck Norris. Let's see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. So ingress was successfully created. We're getting the response from correct pod, which is always nice. Now, so let's generate some traffic, and in this case, I will say a repeat on interval, so 0.5, right? And we should get we should start getting some of the so when I refresh here, I should be able to see a new service will appear. Let me reload this one. My new service now, I start seeing the data from my service, and since I'm running this into, say, I will show you deployment replicas 2. So I'm running this server, and the Kong is load balancing this. Let me stop this for a second. So right now, how I can know if it's actually does whatever I said it does, I have 2 instances of my service, and Kong does round robin between those 2 services. And if we go here in my namespace with my defaults, 2 instances of my quote service. See, it's something different. It's nothing to do with this guy. Chuck quote service has these 2 things at the end: 6GMRX and HDCGM. So if I will go and click Insomnia, I will getting the response either from this pod or from this pod. So that's why we are seeing here in this 2 services in my dashboard. All right. So I will be able to see request rates. I will continue to repeat on interval. Just do every 5 seconds. So far so good. Works great. And check this out. I have a ASCII art of my Kong inside my console. Anyway, okay, so the first plugin, that's what we broke down right now. So we took the enable Prometheus and start collecting metrics out of the ingress. So it's very easy to do with Kong and start getting some of the relevant data for your application. Now, so next thing that usually let me get back to this one. Usually people like to show the rate limiting plugin because it allows to kind of like a pushback in more or less kind of like intrusive way. You're saying, okay, so don't touch me, kind of like stop, back off. But also there's another plugin that allows you to do this configuration, but in more kind of like a more if you feel that someone is hammering your upstream service, what about you give them cached response? So let's do that. So if I will go and find something cache, there's a bunch of plugins, but like I said, we're interested in free plugins today. So we're gonna be using the Proxy Cache. So Proxy Cache, oh, switch back to screen. The Proxy Cache is the plugin that we're gonna be using today. So we're gonna be enable this globally in Kubernetes. That's gonna be our configuration today here. Now, now file is a proxy. So let's take a look. What do we have here? So a return response code for head, for get and head, because you probably don't want to cache post requests. Content type application JSON, cache TTL. Let's take a look. What's the TTL in this case means? And in seconds, 300 seconds. Let's do this something like 60 seconds. So our cache will be updating here. Strategy, strategy here. So the only accepted value is memory. Okay. Hopefully, let's see if we can do. There is the advanced caching plugin that has global Kubernetes, and it has strategy. I think it will be using strategy memory. Redis. So it has a Redis as a configuration here. One of the blog posts that we posted recently from one of my from our Kong partners and from my the past companies. I used to work in this company called Hazelcast. Hazelcast just released a plugin for Kong that instead of Redis you can use Hazelcast for storing rate limiting stuff. So that would be cool to see also caching functionality for Hazelcast. So if you are into advanced rate limiting, actually, you know what? I can break this down maybe one of the few episodes. If this Kong Builders episode will get, I don't know, like 150 likes, let's do this, and I will break down some of the advanced features. Okay, so we're going back to my conversation. So for this, we call it global proxy cache. We're going to be using for ingress for this guy, and we will enable this. Also, we can enable this on ingress, I believe. So let's do this one. We don't want to do this global. Let's do not global because whatever. Like we can do this next time. We already 30 minutes in. All right. So object metadata labels type of string. So we're looking into something typo. Cannot unmarshallable to go to struct labels. Yeah, of course we're gonna do this. Okay, now we just do apply, and here we go. Now we should start getting interesting responses here. Let's see, stop response and cache status hit, and immediately, as you can see, application was able to get upstream latency went to 0, and because the proxy will be responsible from here. Let's see, where's it the response? Where's my check noise? Preview of response. You see, and I think for the next repeat on interval, let's do every 5 seconds or 2 seconds. I don't know why. Yeah. For the next minute, we should be able to get same response from application. And well, since we have a metrics already somewhere here, so let's refresh it. We're running this for at least 15 minutes now. So total request per second and request per 1/2 request. Interesting. Why it's not? Why it's a half of request? So essentially what happens here, so we're not hitting this directly. 2 requests per second, meaning that every half a second we were submitting this request, and now it just went down because we just need to hit this once in a minute. So our caching plugin works. So here we go. The caching plugin available for free. You can just enable this, and you will be able to see how you can. Some of the responses doesn't need to be real time. You know, this particular use case where I'm posting the quotes from Chuck Norris, those requests doesn't need to be real time, so responsive. That's Proxy Cache. Go check this out. Proxy Cache. And we're gonna look to another interesting plugin. So let me quickly check if you have any comments here. I'm wondering, people, let's make some noise. How many people are watching us everywhere? I'm just curious how many people are there still there. Write down in the comments saying, hey, I'm still here, I'm enjoying this. That's super cool show. I am happy AF. Maybe you even have some questions that I can use as a breather. And let me see. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, I don't see how I can tell how many people are watching. Oh, I know, but not gonna do this right now. Or can I? View analytics. Yeah. So we're using this tool called Restream, and we see lots of statistics, and some of those statistics are in the real time. So that's pretty cool. So I know that a few people are watching on YouTube, and people LinkedIn just dropped to watch. Probably they got back to work because you can use LinkedIn for work. All right, let's get back to some of the plugins. Another plugin that you can use to kind of like a pushback on certain workloads is sometimes you can have bots, like this is computer software that will be going around internet and try to hammer your system or scrap your system for some useful data, and you don't want to do this, and this is where the plugin can come handy. Again, super cool small plugin that allows you to put extra spice on your level of protection of your APIs. So what it does, so it actually analyzes. We can since it's open source and the source is available of this plugin, so you can always go and check to see what this plugin does. So essentially, this bug detection plugin will analyze. It's a bunch of different regexps that it will analyze, and after that pushes back. There's a Google Plus. Google Plus. Write down in the comments if you still remember, if you're old enough to remember Google Plus. Google Plus. Anyway, yeah, so based on the user agent of your client, you will be able to push back. So let's see how it goes. Okay. So in order to enable this, again, we're going into our the portal, enable globally. We just enabled it globally. we enable this through Kubernetes, and just copying this this parameter. I have this already copied here, and deny conk builders. Hopefully this will work. So deny, if we look into the configuration, so it's an array. You can put conk builders, conk cast, like your favorite shows. You can say, I don't know, like what's the bots that the Facebook will already have, Instagram. I don't know, with no reason. And after that, I will just go ahead and apply this. Now, so in order to test this, as we can see, we are continue to hammering, and the cache status, cache hit 36, 38, and after that, after 60, it will restart. Okay, so when I will do this and I put some extra header, so for example, user agent, and I said conk cast, and now all of a sudden I'm getting forbidden. So with this, this is how you can immediately enable this one, and it's still conk, but you know, Microsoft Internet Explorer crawler. I don't know. Apparently it is a thing somewhere in the internet. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, it was a some sort of crawler. Speaking about IP addresses, okay, so that reminds me that you also can do things with IP address, IP restriction. We go in and enable this globally, enable this using Kubernetes, and we'll just do. Let's copy to my ID. All this code, all these examples will be available in the demo scene repository. Plugin YAML. Again, need to fix that. Okay. How I can get my IP address? Get my IP address. Okay, so let's see, it will give my IP address. Apparently this is my IP address. We'll see. Okay, let's see if I will be able to restrict this access to this API using this IP address. Global IP restriction. Enable. Let's see if it works. Okay, let's do this crawler. We don't need this. Boom. Forbidden. Why is that? Does it show me why? Your IP address is not allowed. How cool is that? It's pretty awesome. I would mess around right now with some of the different, I don't know, like VPNs maybe, and play around and see how this stuff working. But hey, that's how you can get this. And let's see if our dashboard actually have something. We're already doing this for 30 minutes. Let's refresh it. Our service. Do we have a response bandwidth? What is the bandwidth? Let's see what we have here. Ingress, egress. So ingress, this is something coming in. Egress is we coming out. So virtual machines, blah blah blah. Nginx. That's the request response from Nginx and all this stuff. Total request per second. Again, the majority of requests are globally cached, so that's why we see this latency went down. The note to myself, like in order to, insomnia is cool and stuff, like if I can do just do Python interval and just do like every half. Okay. All right, so we'll do this one. My IP address is not allowed, so I should get bunch of like can I get I'm interested in if I can get the error rates from the Conk plugin. So something that allows me to let's see, Prometheus in Grafana, but I'm interested in, let's see, just go into Plugins3 Prometheus, and what I wanted to say, I wanted to say code, like HTTP code, status codes available as a metric, but I don't feel we have. Let's go ahead and explore. So it says what's the status code, conk status code. So I'm switching back to Grafana. Where's Grafana? And we'll go ahead and explore whatever, save dashboard. Okay, no, I just did some modification and it wants me to save dashboard. I don't wanna, no, discard, go away. Now, metrics browser, let's see. Select metrics, we should have Quang, HTTP status. And that's the HTTP statuses that we have. What kind of statuses we have? 403, obviously, because forbidden, and 200. So we start getting those. Let's see, for the last 30 minutes. And yeah, still hammering, still doing the thing. So you see that before there was no like one. So yeah, those metrics are available. So you will be able to put this in your dashboard. Maybe we can play around the next time with this dashboard. All right. Interesting. So the looks like a lot of people watching on the LinkedIn. That's awesome. Thank you for watching us on the LinkedIn, because my statistics didn't show many people watching, which is super cool. Thank you for your support. All right, so I think let me put this. I will just do a quick wrap about the stuff what we were talking today. Film builders episode is 0608-2022. So we looked into plugins. So we talked about, the first plugin was Prometheus, and I showed you how you can set up, plus the metrics setup. I showed you how we can did this. Go ahead and check out the Prometheus plugin from Prometheus Hub. This is something that you will be able to find. Next thing is that we looked at the caching proxy. And you saw plugin. And you saw how we can use this proxy caching. Let's go back. Just do Proxy Cache plugin. This is the one that you will be able to use to cache stuff. Still cannot believe that we had Google Plus. Google Plus. Anyway, so next thing is that we touched on API bot detection plugin. Bot detection. And the bot detection. and bot detection plugin. Just someone just messaged me. What does it mean connect compatible? So this is a very good question. So essentially, connect. This is something that we're working on at Quonk. It's called manage control plane for your application. Right now, everything that you saw in this particular presentations and the presentations that I do around Quonk Ingress Controller, we have this conceptually. We have this thing called Quonk Ingress Controller. And in this particular case, when we're running this inside Kubernetes, the Quonk Ingress Controller is a control plane for my data plane, which is Quonk Proxy. So Proxy, it's the something that will be serving this port. This is something that actually listens when I do this. And this is some process that listens to this port. This is data plane that's responsible for shipping, for handling your traffic. Control plane is responsible for accepting configuration, validating, and ship this configuration into my data plane. So in this example that I showed you for the last few episodes of Quonk Builders, we use Quonk Ingress Controller, again, cool t-shirt, as our control plane. Now, you can also run Quonk as a data plane in your Kubernetes, but use something that's called Connect as your control plane. The Connect has like lots of cool things. There's nice UI, all these like metrics things. You can enable plugins, disable plugins through UI. I did a while back when I just joined the Quonk, I did the Quonk Builders episode, how to deploy Quonk into Kubernetes and use Connect as a control plane. We are very soon. I'm super excited because I've seen the internal demos and I worked with the new version of Connect for quite some time, and I'm super excited. I just like every time when the Quonk Builders about to air, and I was just like going to my PM folks and saying, hey, can I show this? It's super cool. And so not yet. Wait a second. We want to make this very nice and super polished. So we're gonna be talking about Connect a little bit more. But yeah, so some of the plugins, meaning that when they said so it's Connect compatible, meaning that you will be able to enable this plugin through Connect control plane. That's the idea behind Connect compatible thing. So stay tuned, subscribe for new episodes of Quonk Builders, and I will be posting those. And the last thing that I want to show you right now, so all my demos will be available here. There's a Quonk Builders folder that includes all the dates of previous demos, and you can find all the code snippets there. So before, what else? We did the bot detection, IP restriction, IP restriction plugin, and I just do IP restriction plugin. Copy this one. So that's my notes that I will be posting after the show. Hopefully you will be able to check this out. Proxy, yeah. So that's gonna be like a set of plugins that we covered today, like super easy, but they will immediately improve your the workflow. Where's the API restriction? Can I not do this? So let's see. Delete this configuration. Yeah, delete this resource. And hopefully I'll start getting, yeah. And you see, this is the beauty of this thing. So all the things with configuration that I'm messing around right now, they don't touch data plane at all, because control plane, data plane connection are not standing in the path of your request. Your request always hitting Quonk, and like we continue hitting Quonk, and immediately when we change the configuration, Quonk Ingress Controller capture this, turn it into something that Kong will understand, meaning that Kong admin API. And after that, just submit this configuration. So I think this is super cool. And also I can do Proxy Cache. Is there any like HTTP response code for cached content? I'm interested in. There should be something like. Okay, I can do. Let's see if I just do 204 for this cached content. I'm wondering what this will say. So there's still output here. Cancel request. Need to stop and header, and it's still 200. But why it's not? Why not 204? Response code configured. I'm wondering. Let me see if I will be able to delete this and redeploy this. Maybe something with the TTL. I think it's something with TTL. Well, I mean, like, not everything should work as it's supposed to. Cache status bypass. Response code. Let's see. Wait a second. This is interesting. It's interesting. Proxy cache, and let's see configuration. Default value. So response code, upstream response status considered cacheable. Okay. So it's response code from my application. So it's 200. Okay. Okay. So when I hit the, can I do this response code for my plugin? I don't know if it's a good practice to do this. Yeah, so that's why it says bypass, because I hit this my upstream service, it returned 200, and we said like 204 will be considered as cached response. So that's why it is what it is. So another thing, you learn your now it's a miss, and now it's a hit. But the first time it was a miss, and the second time it was a hit because it was not available there. So the most important lesson from today's episode is read documentation. It's important. So yeah. All right, and I think we do have good stuff for today. You can always should subscribe in our YouTube channel. Write your comments and your requests for upcoming episodes. And with this, my name is Viktor Gamov, and as always, have a nice day.